Hello Antique and Garden Showcase friends, and welcome back to the channel. I had a comment on the last video about magnolias, and I thought today I would do a video just featuring magnolias and what's happened here. Now this is Kentucky 6B gardening zone, which in Kentucky I'm right in the center of the state. So I mean, if you put a pin right in the middle of Kentucky, that's where this location's at. So it's not very far south, it's not very far north. And magnolias do survive here really well, but they can get winter burn sometimes if we get harsh winters, and that's what happened this year to a couple of mine. So I'm going to take you around and show you the three varieties that are here. They are Little Gem, Edith Bogue, and the other one, which leaves me all the time, K Paris. It's a combination of Little Gem and Bracken's Brown. All those names are hard to remember. But anyway, there are those three types of magnolia here. The Little Gem is a smaller variety that we have on either side of this front porch. The Edith Bogue is the giant southern magnolia variety on the side, and the K Paris is a medium-sized variety that we have down on the side yard. So let's go take a look at the Little Gems first. The Little Gem magnolia is the one that's on each corner of the house here and on the other end. And these were put in the updated landscape several years ago, and they were probably 4 to 5 foot tall whenever they were put in. Now they've grown substantially. I mean, they are all the way up to the bottom of the roof line there, but they are still a miniature or dwarf type variety of magnolia. And I trimmed them frequently to keep them in check and in shape. Now this one hit really bad because this is the western corner of the house and the wind whips around through here. So when we had all those negative 5 degree temperatures in December, the leaves got really burned, and over the course of the winter, you know, they dropped more like a deciduous tree instead of an evergreen. So this has happened before, and I knew what to expect. In fact, the last time it happened, or the first time it happened, I should say, I thought that these trees were a goner and they were going to have to be replaced. And then the nursery said, nope, just leave them alone and they'll be fine. Or you can trim them back and they'll still be fine. So I took that advice this year. I knew when they lost all their leaves, I'm like, they're still fine, but I'm going to take this time to shape them up. And as you can tell, I did a hard prune all the way from top, or from bottom to top, and I took them down below the roof line and kind of kept them in a conical shape, so that way they're not brushing up against the house, they're not on the roof or anything else, but they are coming back out really well. You can see new leaf structure there. I saw bud structure somewhere. Oh, if you look straight across there, let me zoom in. I was gonna lose a little microphone, but you can see the bud right there. Right there. And that's going to be blooms. Actually, I see 2 in that frame right there. So these will bloom on old wood. You don't have to worry about them, you know, whenever you trim them back, that you're going to hurt the buds, because the buds will just pop right back out. And I've seen several buds throughout. Now let's go take a look at the southern magnolia. So I'm standing here at the gate at the garden in the back, and we're taking a look at the southern magnolia, which is right here in front of us. And you may notice that the side of it looks really flat. Well, that side's really flat because I've trimmed it that way, because I don't want it getting into the chimney, onto the roof, into the roof vents, and all the things that are around the side of the house. Now, I typically come down this side and keep it sheared more to a straight point. This tree is really needing some heavy pruning really bad right now. It is not a narrow growing tree. It is actually, if I could stand on the other side, the grass is super wet this morning, so I'm not getting out in there. But if I stood on the other side, you would see that this tree is practically as wide as the house. It's enormous. Now, is this a good tree for the side of the house? Probably not. And I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. In Kentucky 6B, we do get snow, and snow can cause these to snap very easily. They do not like the snow load, and that's one reason for doing a heavy pruning on this tree a lot, because I have had snow accumulate on the branches and just weight it down and just break it off. So that's been a severe pruning in itself in years past. Also, another reason that this tree is not good up next to a house or out in the yard, if you see the ground around it, And I've talked about this before. Look at the leaves. These leaves were just cleaned up about 2 days ago, and they're back again. And on a typical cleanup week, about 2 garbage bags full. Now, I don't know about you, but that kind of maintenance wears on me after a while. And it's actually a consideration right now where, you know, as beautiful as this tree is, we're really considering taking it down just because of the maintenance. I mean, it is constant, and you have to do it before you mow every single time. And, or I could run a lawn sweeper, but then what do you do with it? These leaves are like big, thick, leathery leaves. They do not grind up well. They do not mow well. They do not decompose well. So that's a huge consideration when you're thinking about a tree like this. You know, be sure you plant it somewhere where you're not worried about the upkeep. From this same vantage point, and I'm sorry about the sun, it is morning, so you know, it's kind of bright right here in the back. This is, the garden always gets morning sun, which looks really pretty. You can still see the pretty poppies. Let me go over here. I didn't get this in really well in the last video, but these are the bread seed poppies. These were from my grandmother's country grocery store. I remember these from growing up little, and this one right here was actually from a neighbor that we had in our old subdivision where we used to live. So we keep them back here. Every year we let some come up and grow, and I've got cages in here ready for tomatoes. But yeah, the bread seed poppies are really pretty, especially in morning sun out here when they open up and you get those pretty little blooms. And I try to keep them on the edges. You know, they'll seed, and I keep the ones around the edges of the bed so I can still plant in the middle. And I'm thinking about doing my green beans here. I've got lettuce that's really good in here, and still have some oriental poppies blooming over here. They've been really pretty this year too. Wind kind of took the toll on the white ones here a little bit earlier. Pretty bloom though. The orange. All right, but back to the subject at hand, the K. Paris Magnolia. What do I know about the K. Paris Magnolia? It's a combination of two. It is the Little Gem and the Bracken's Brown. It's that tree right there and this one right here. And we have a pair of those. They've been there, gosh, I don't know. I'm saying close to 15 years now. And they were probably 4-foot stock whenever they were new. Now, the thing about these, they're probably, you know, they're still a little messy. They're still going to drop leaves, but they don't drop as big of a leaf as this one. This is an enormous leaf. This one's a little bit more manageable. And the thing about this one too is the size is more manageable. You know, that's probably 15 years growth. It's a nice medium-sized tree. This one may be 20, but you can tell it's taller than the house. It's wide as the house. It requires severe trimming. If I had to plant over, I would plant all of these, just because I love the way the form is natural. That's a natural shape. These have not been trimmed. That's the shape I like. The leaf is better. The bloom is still really pretty. All around, my favorite pick are the Little Gems and this K. Paris, if I had to do it over again. I've seen K. Paris in a lot of retail shopping center applications too, and I think that's kind of a tree of choice when it comes to magnolia, and they are hard to find. I mean, you'll have to do a little research, a little looking. You know, it might be something you even have to order to get those, but make sure they work in your zone. This is Kentucky 6B. I'd say 6B and south of here, or, you know, much farther north than here, they're not going to do too well. They struggle here sometimes in the winter, but these are protected by this beast of a tree here, the bald cypress, so they get a little bit of protection from that. And I have to kind of keep it trimmed back away from them some. But yeah, that thing's a monster. And to think that that was only as big as my little finger when I put it out, and probably 4 feet tall. It's unbelievable. So that's a little bit about magnolias here in Kentucky 6B and the ones that I have growing in this climate. And I will say that the winter was very harsh, as you could tell on those in the front yard. They have struggled, but it was a good opportunity at the same time to trim those back heavy and get them back in shape, which was something I had kind of neglected on doing for a bit. So they're going to be fine. They look great. But do consider, especially that Edith Bogue, the really big southern magnolia, the biggest consideration is cleanup. I can't stress that enough. Clean up. If you don't want leaves to clean up like 85 to 90% of the year, do not plant that tree. But if you want that tree for the beautiful blooms and a wonderful smell and being a nice evergreen year-round, it is that too. So you have to take the bitter with the sweet with that tree. Honestly, that's what it's about. So I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of knowledge I have on magnolias, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good week. Bye.